be real, Bobbi. Did you really think that you and Marco would be friends?
I mean, you can ask Marco the same thing.
Did you really think? No.
Did you really think she was gonna show up if she didn't show up the first time?
Me personally, I'm like, why are you linking up with the op?
Yeah. Especially if she supposedly stole your flow.
Right. Why are you linking up with the op? Because that's literally what she did. Like,
This the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, rock, ta, ta.
blah, blah, blah. Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jessie Strange.
How you feeling today, Jessie?
I'm feeling a little not in character, really.
Feeling off-brand?
I'm feeling very off-brand. I had to borrow Tiana's shirt that she took from me.
Okay, relax. Right, it's your shirt.
It is
so why
an
would
old shirt. I just feel like I rolled out of bed.
Because you don't got no clothes.
No clothes here, yo. No clothes. We're doing a double film day.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I look basic, but I feel good. I feel good. I'm feeling good about things in life. How about you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling decent.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Just hungry, but
We're
yeah.
Starving, yo.
Yeah.
After this, we about to go eat.
No, for real.
I'm very excited for that. And also, a couple, last time we recorded, I was actually getting sick as we were recording. So
damn,
it does feel good to not have my little sinus infection that I did have.
That's right. That's right. Well, today we are going to give you, of course, your usual weekly dose of mess. But again, for those that are new, we are a pop culture podcast. So welcome to the Petty Headquarters. Get to know us, settle in, grab your snacks, whatever the fuck you gotta grab, and just relax and join the ride. Okay, join the ride. So today's topic, we are now. Before I even
say the topic.
But no, okay, whatever. Let me say the topic. We are going to be talking about Bobbi Althoff and Funny Marco. Recently he did cancel his tour. And he blamed it on Bobbi not being versatile enough to do different things in comedy and stand-up. But, she explained social anxiety. So, yeah, we are going to dive into that whole thing. And, of course, we're going to give you some background and explain it. But before that, I just want to say I really tried my hardest to not speak on Bobbi Althoff. I really did. I really avoided speaking on her. But now we are going to speak on her.
It's crazy.
It low-key pains me, but
it's
it is what it is.
Because you've really been trying to avoid it.
I've been trying to. Out of all the things I've seen, even her with Suki.
Yeah.
Her with NLE Choppa Boy, all these things I've seen. Her with Ryan Garcia, I really tried my hardest to just avoid speaking about the woman. But, here we are. And, Funny Marco's my guy. So here we are.
Isn't that interesting, huh? How the world
is so interesting.
How it works out that way.
How I just end up talking about you. So
this is gonna be a good one, man.
It's gonna be a great episode.
I feel like because it's annoying that I look this way because I feel like because I feel like it's gonna be a really good conversation.
Listen, at least you wasn't. I was up here with my scarf on doing these damn episodes, and they was coming at me. In the previous episode, they was coming at me for wearing a scarf. Okay, I rolled out of bed, literally.
Yeah.
So I'm sure what you get will not be as bad as what I got. Okay, I practically might as well have worn a bonnet for that episode. So yeah, you're great compared to the shit that I've done.
So are you.
So.
Well, let's get right into it.
So
I'm
who
excited.
is Bobbi Althoff?
Yeah, who is Bobbi Althoff? I don't even know. I always say Adolf.
Whatever. So Bobbi Althoff, as you may know her today, is a podcaster. Her net worth. What is her net worth? I think 9.9 mil. She is married to, that's what it says online, but that could always fluctuate, right? But she became famous, and her podcast went viral after she did her first interview with Drake in his home and in his bed. After that, it was just up from there. Within 3 months, you became the #1 podcast, and you have all of these rappers on your platform, and you have your socially awkward interviewing style. And before that, you weren't even doing podcasts. You were actually a mom blogger
On TikTok.
Right? You were on Mom Talk. And I just don't understand, out of nowhere, you just decided, yep, I'm going to start a podcast. And then you have this video with Drake, right? And then your shit goes viral. Now, I'm going to talk about how she got there, because it's a little bit unclear. Because there's a fine print that shows you how she got there, but then there's other things that, you know, people say on Reddit and in Twitter threads of how she got there, which is up for speculation, right? Allegedly. So we're going to go by the textbook print online of how she got there. She went on TikTok. She said, oh, I'm going to give someone $300 who connects me to a celebrity to do an interview. So someone on TikTok connected her to this comedian called Rick. What was his name? Rick Owens? No, I'm bugging. Rick Owens. Let's see. Rick Glassman. So after she said that on TikTok, someone connected her to Rick Glassman, this comedian. Then after that, you know, he did it for free. That was fine. Then she did it again. Oh, I'm going to pay someone $300 to connect me to so-and-so. I think Funny Marco at the time, he decided to do it for free. He was like, oh, hey, let's do this. He did the interview, went to her house, you know, whatever. He was down. It's funny. It's, you know, Marco's usual awkward but funny humor. And then there's her like real, genuine, socially awkward personality. So boom, that happened. Then after that, she says that she just, I guess, when she did that video with Funny Marco, Drake liked it. Drake liked her stuff. And then she was like, why not? So he started following her after that Funny Marco video. So she said, let me hit him up. He started following me. Why not? She hit up Drake. And he said, yeah, why not? So she goes to his house and they do this interview in his bed. And it just went up for her after that. Now, what a lot of people don't mention is that, you know, her husband, Bobbi Althoff, well, ex-husband now, I guess.
Right.
What people fail, I guess, to mention is that he is someone that is also rich. Her husband was rich, right? And I think his net worth is around 5.5 mil. But, you know, like we said earlier, that could fluctuate. There have been speculations and rumors stating that he was connected to someone in the industry already, whether that was a recording company that Drake was also affiliated with or not. People were saying he was already connected. That's how she got in. You know, he funded everything. But then, you know, Bobbi does tell the internet that she funded everything on her credit cards and paid for these flights to go interview these rappers or whatever. You know, just take the opportunity when it presents to you, because this may be like, you know, this may never happen again. So that is who Bobbi Althoff is. All right?
Yeah.
And now we have Funny Marco.
Yeah.
Funny Marco, comedian in his right. You know, he's been doing this type of interview style for as long as he could tell. First, he was just doing funny videos, like funny clips, and he's been doing this for like fucking 6+ years, 8+ years, you know, and he built his presence online with doing like funny stuff in like Walmart or like stupid shit in different areas.
Yeah.
And then, you know, started to do this like interviewing style. But with him, it was so much more different because everything was awkward. It wasn't just him. It was the environment that he would put you in. It's his outfit that he would wear. It's his presence. It's the things that he would ask. It's even him having nothing on the paper but asking dumb questions. It's like everything is very key to what he would do in his socially awkward interview. I wouldn't even say socially awkward. I would just say awkward.
Yeah.
And so after he did his first interview with Bobbi, people online were saying that she stole his style of interviewing. And then, of course, she skyrockets, even though he's been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an overview of who these two are, Funny Marco as well as Bobbi Althoff.
Yeah.
So now
That was very well explained.
yeah,
Did that real.
Yeah, because I'm passionate.
Yeah,
and I'm not even there yet.
Tiana's very passionate about this topic.
I'm
I'll
very
tell you that.
passionate.
We've had countless conversations behind the scenes on just this topic, which is crazy. So, like, I mean, just to touch on Bobbi's upbringing in the industry, which was very short. She kind of just appeared in our face.
Literally just appeared.
Yeah, she appeared in our face. It kind of felt like Ice Spice, you know? Like just appeared in our face. And that's where the industry plant conversation comes in, right? Because people who have connections get there faster, obviously. And that's what you consider an industry plant. And I thought it was interesting that her interview, like to get Drake, right? Like let's dissect that for a second, because I feel like, you know, our coverage, listen, I don't know Drake personally, obviously, duh, but I'm just saying, giving off of the research that we've done and seeing this total, like, going from when, what's his name? Joe Budden called out Drake to now, where Kendrick completely, like, destroyed Drake. Like, they booed him recently from one of these rock concerts that he was supposed to appear in. And yeah, there's like a video. Yeah. It's really interesting, right? But we know Drake, and in a sense of how he behaves in the industry. And I just don't understand how it was possible for someone who just wasn't running their podcast for that long could not only get a interview with Drake, because he was also very particular about his interviews, which I thought was very interesting. Because he doesn't just interview with nobody.
No.
So,
right.
And he also doesn't just endorse anybody.
Right.
And if you're a female, and I don't mean to sexualize her, but let's look at Sexy Red or stuff like that. Like, I feel like if he's trying to sign you or interested in you, he probably is also trying to fuck you, right? Like,
and let's not forget that Drake clearly has a type, right? And she matches that description.
I mean,
Bobbi
Drake likes
Althoff.
little kids. I'm just kidding.
And
Like
she
young looking
matches
girls.
the description.
Yeah.
Like, look, she looks younger than her age.
Yeah.
And she's like in her 30s, but she looks very young. And, you know, white girl, and then Ice Spice looks young and fair skin, fat ass, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
But exactly. So I feel like, and even if it was only a business proposal, let's just say Drake knew Bobbi's husband, and let's just say there was a real close connection there, you still had to pay for his presence. So, like, you know, whatever it was, like, you are undeniably an industry plant, right? And Keke Palmer called her out on that, which was very nice.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
Keke say nothing?
No way.
No,
I gotta bring it up.
You gotta bring it up, because
She called her out.
never be saying nothing.
Okay, so what would you say to the people that feel like, okay, you're just capitalizing without concern? If that's not who you are, what would you say you are doing?
I don't think I was like capitalizing. I think I was just like taking people who I thought were really amazing and like interviewing them, but I didn't think more like deeply into that. And I can see how, like, I definitely can see how people would come to that conclusion. It's like, it's crazy though. And I know a lot of people thought I mean, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Again,
Assuming it's a setup, or
Yeah,
assuming,
I mean,
or then
it's-
there's always the industry plant gag.
I
You're not an
know.
industry plant, right?
I am, but
So wait, what is the industry plant to you?
I mean, I don't truly like know.
what is
I
that?
feel like it means like, I don't know. I mean, like, the industry is like helping
you
you. Like, I don't know
apply
where. I know I applied and they were
So I
like,
guess
yeah.
what I think is an industry plant is, what I think industry plan is, it's like somebody that has been like, that is tied to someone else in the industry and uses those connections
Okay.
to capitalize, and they like have zero talent.
That makes more sense than
Do you
what I
think-
thought it was. So I was like, they
What
just,
did you
like,
think it
I don't know,
was?
like some, like the industry like comes
Planted
in and
you.
is like, hey, like we pick you, you're gonna be the next. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any ties though, so I would love to have had ties. I feel like my life would have been a lot easier if I had ties. Don't have any ties.
Yeah.
Just have like.
Well, you do feel kind of planty. We do have the same manager, so is this?
I know,
isn't
that crazy?
Feels a bit planty.
This is definitely planty.
You got here in 5 minutes.
All right. Well, that's good. I didn't even know that Kiki even interviewed her and like clocked that, but I'm really glad that she did. And this is the thing with Bobbi, and I'm gonna save this till after. But even her talking about, I think my life would be easier. Like, girl, please stop talking.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's the nicest I'm being.
one thing that I really don't like about Bobbi is that she seems to not take any type of. She likes to play the dumb card because, like, let's just say I'm like, nah, I didn't Google what industry plant was and I had to like use my common sense. I feel like anybody would know what an industry plant is. And then I feel like she's very grown pretending to like she don't know. So she's 26 years old. And you know what? That's still okay. You're still older.
Right.
You're still older, but I guess I can give the grace of, man, I didn't really get my shit together until 27. But, right? I think I still would have known what an industry plan is. And I think it's these little habits that Bobbi has that is annoying because she likes to play like, oh, I don't know. I'm just lollygagging my way through.
That is an example of how out of touch with reality you are. You don't know what an industry plan is. You don't know anything. You always are in the air like a fucking airhead, right? I'm going to wait.
But yeah, so I mean, I feel like going back to the Drake thing, I just think it's interesting that, you know, that you got Drake there. And not for nothing, that ended up causing speculation and rumors, and you know they followed each other, then unfollowed each other.
Yeah,
the entire
same
podcast,
thing with Ice Spice.
The entire shit.
Realize that, right? The same thing with Ice Spice. How Drake followed her, then all of a sudden after some little thing he unfollowed her. Same thing with Bobbi. He followed her, then unfollowed her. It's just weird.
Interesting.
Like what's really going on? What's happening?
You know what's happening.
There's something that we're not seeing.
Yeah, duh. We're seeing. Well, I mean, we see it. Kendrick called it out. He's got a little ego. And I'm sure if he doesn't get his way, he kind of acts like that. Drake seems like the type, at least. That's all my speculation. It's not truth. But just based off of like the things he says, what he believes in, how he still behaves, it's just giving, if you're not fucking me, I'm going to not endorse you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, I could be wrong. As like I said, this is just an opinion. I don't know what's your opinion, but that's my opinion. But yeah, and then now you got Funny Marco. I only learned about Funny Marco through you. And I'm not really into those awkward, interviews, but I really enjoy his style a lot. And I really enjoy the one with Suki Hana.
Yo, that out of all of his videos is the best one. And I've watched all of his videos.
Yeah.
That is in my opinion, that is the best one. It was just top tier entertainment.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Yeah. So going back to the main thing that we're going to talk about today. So like I said earlier in the beginning, Funny Marco did cancel his tour, and he did make a whole video as to why he canceled it. And I will share a clip of that as well. In the video, he basically talks about, how Bobbi just wasn't getting out of her comfort zone, and he just didn't feel comfortable going on a full tour with her if she just wasn't going to really sell the comedy show.
And put in the work.
Pretty
much.
Right. But of course, I guess she responded and, but I'll show you the video first.
Well, before you show them the video, I just want to point out one thing. Like, so after that collaboration that they had, the internet loved it. Mm-hmm. They like with the Bobbi and Marco, and then they did another collaboration.
Right.
They did two.
He invited her.
Yes, on his show. Right. And the fans loved it. Everyone was like, yo, and this is how it started. Because I remember I enjoyed their chemistry. I watched it. I enjoyed their chemistry. It was like two awkward people and awkward in their own way.
Definitely shading her when he brought her on his show.
It was great. It was really funny.
It was great.
Definitely a good episode. And I feel like the same way everyone in the comments was like, y'all need to go on tour together because y'all really are hilarious. Like y'all, it seemed like, you know, they kind of like hate each other, but also was like,
we
being
can make money together.
Right. So everyone's like wanted to see that. And that's how they got into the tour thing. But yes.
Right. And you make a great point. I can see Marco wanting to do this tour because, hey, the fans are asking for this. I don't want to upset my fans and my supporters. And you know what? Maybe they're right. We can make a shit ton of money. Like, you know, one of those things where it says, oh, keep your enemies closer type shit.
Absolutely.
And like, you know, she's technically or a competitor. And it's like, why the fuck not? You know, if can't beat them, join them type shit.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's why, you know, he decided this tour would be a great idea. Seeing how people reacted when he brought her on his platform. It was like a reunion, so to speak. But yeah, this is what he had to say about Bobbi. And it sparked the internet. It like went off on the internet. Everyone was like, oh my God.
Good person. You know, I feel like everybody good. Let's be real. Like, I don't have shit bad to say about nobody. But when people pay their hard working money, I really, really care about that. So when I'm on stand-up tour and I'm selling out these tours and then me and Bobbi be able to come together and people are paying their money to come see us, I really want that to get better. I don't want it to be the same. I don't want to take nobody money if you can't get it again. Let me start there. Let me say that. If you can't get the money again, you don't need to be doing it twice. That's like with anything. With promo, if you're doing promo, don't be out here trying to scramble for money and take people hard work money to just do it and use your platform and then go about your day, because it's about like a relationship. A relationship is very, very important. So the fact that I feel like I did stand up before and I'm still doing it. So I understand I'm learning how to entertain a crowd. And it's not the same thing that you get on Instagram. This is real life where people are going to look and they want the energy and they want the feeling. And I feel like Bobbi was stiff a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey man, let's really, really work on this. Like, and I paid script writers, like, let's really get them a show. And where she told me, that's not me. Bobbi was like, my comedy is me not talking a lot. And I'm like, shit, this is different. Like, you could do that on the podcast, but in real life, this is different. So her comedy was different from what she said, from what she wanted to bring to the show, which I can respect. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing about me getting mad. I'm not saying you're doing nothing wrong. I can't, but I just don't agree with it. I can feel like I don't agree with it.
So that is a clip of essentially like what he had to say and the reason why he canceled his tour with Bobbi. But let me just point out before I even show Bobbi's her video response, he even paid scriptwriters.
Yeah.
So he was willing to literally mock up the whole thing for you, right? All you had to do was memorize it.
I mean,
you
in
couldn't
simple
even
terms,
do that.
in theory.
You couldn't even do that.
According
you didn't
to
have to come up with your own jokes. Everything would have been written out for you from as far as I can tell, right? So not only are you wasting his money, but you're also wasting other people's money that pay to see a good show. But whatever, that's just my one clip, my one view of like what he said. And he's right. You know, it like what you said the other day. And the reason why I say she's so out of touch with reality is because of examples like this. Tell me you worked hard to get to where you're at and it will show.
Yeah.
Right? With her, you can tell she did not work that hard to get to where she is. You literally, it took you what, 3 months? Are you serious? Whereas someone that has worked extremely hard, they know what they're doing. They know how to entertain. They know how to put in the work, right? No matter how they feel, they know how to put in the work. Whereas you did not know how to put in the work. Your first thing to do was to cry wolf and to say, I can't. Because you're not used to working hard for something that you actually want. And to think that you also didn't even want a podcast. So I'm trying to figure out, where did that come from? Because there's a tweet and a post about her saying multiple times, I didn't even want this podcast. I didn't even want this podcast, especially when she was going through the whole whatever ordeal she was going through with Drake. I didn't even want to do the Drake interview. Like all this weird fucking shit that just sounds like it comes out of a spoiled brat's mouth.
Yeah.
You sound like a spoiled brat every time you open your mouth. What are your thoughts on what Marco said?
Yeah, I wanted to dive into what he said a little bit because this is what I told you already, but I feel like the work ethic is very different for a reason. And this is exactly what you just said, right? I pointed out that there is different work ethic because Funny Marco had to actually build his brand, build his presence online, and actually put in many, many years of work. And, we know what that's like, right? We know what that's like. And it's not easy doing this shit. It looks fun. It looks easy, but it's not. Because if it was, everyone would do it, right?
Right.
Now, you have someone like Bobbi who probably had a connection. And even to know that she said, I didn't even want this podcast. I forgot about that. But it's true because that's like when, your kid, you seen those teenage kids that, get their car taken away or something and they're like, oh, I don't even want the car. Like, just not appreciating what they have.
And not appreciating that the hard work that went into it for your parents to get you that car in the first place because you're so entitled and you're used to getting everything that you want. Your parents never taught you how to work for anything. So you're so quick to fix your mouth and say, oh, I didn't even want this. I didn't even want this. After your parents spent their hard-earned fucking money to get you that shit. This is exactly what it sounds like, a spoiled brat.
For sure. So I definitely think that, that there's truth to that. However, I do want to point out and also, be fair because it's right, that I believe that, Funny Marco is onto something. However, I believe that he knew that from the very beginning, right? We knew that from the very beginning. We knew Bobbi was an industry plant, and I'm pretty sure he knew, like, if we know and we're not even in the industry, then I'm sure like, you know what I'm saying? Don't play stupid now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like when you this is like, let's just bring it to like Zeus. If I'm going to have business with Zeus, we know what type of time that's on.
Right.
You're risking something to go wrong. You're risking for them to be shady with money.
Yep.
You're risking for a bunch of shit to go down, to be disrespected by Lemmy, by Natalie.
Yep.
You know what you're getting yourself into. Why? So like for me, it's like, Marco, you knew this and yet you still chose because you wanted to either one, give the fans what they wanted, or, two, make some bread, or both. You know what I'm saying? You can make some bread while also giving the fans what they wanted.
Right.
But like, why are you surprised? Like, or why are you like, I don't know, like, why did you even try to do it in a way to protect your peace? Right. Like, I just feel like, he has to take some type of accountability for still pursuing it despite everything. Like if it's true, I don't know how he feels, but if he truly feels that she stole his style, why are you trying to be, make money? I guess, try to make money off of it, but still, like, what you get yourself. Let's just say, in theory, he feels that way. She stole your style. Then she doesn't have to work as hard. And then you always have the conversation of race being involved. So it's like, and then you still proceeded to do that. You have to take some accountability. You should, that's like, what I'm saying? You should, like, the same way with those girls who audition in baddies auditions and these things, they complain or they get fucked over. We say the same thing.
Right.
You knew what you were getting yourself into. I don't know why he's, and I guess he did that video for his fans.
Right.
To explain why he won't be doing the tour. But I wanted to point that out.
Right. So that brings me to the question. Did Funny Marco use Bobbi Althoff?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think so because everybody before his second interview where he brought her to the podcast, people were like shading her.
Yeah.
And like you had Lil Yachty shading her about that.
Yeah. Yo, that was so funny. I remember when I watched that video, that interview with Lil Yachty, and he shaded the shit out of Bobbi. I have that clip right now. We could pull that shit up.
Lil Yachty, Offset, Keke Palmer, all these people who are basically... No, not basically. All these people who are black, literally, calling her out on it. And it brings up, I brought up also the conversation, like, you're over here interviewing, black people of color. It was hip hop at first because it was Drake, Lil Yachty. This is before she expanded to the other shit. But a lot of her coverage was hip hop culture, people in the hip hop community. So
that she didn't even know about, that she didn't take time to learn about. Even if your team or your manager, whoever, PR, whatever, even if they're telling you, okay, yeah, this is going to be good for marketing, you would think that you would at least do your own research. But it just goes to show again how out of touch with reality you really are. How because you get things handed to you, you don't even know how to work for that.
And lazy the work is. It's lazy because when you're listening to a podcast, right, you're gaining something from an interview. That's really what it is. You're gaining something, whether it's new information. Like, this is what a good podcast does. They ask unique questions. They put you in unique situations, whatever it may be, but it's different, right?
Right.
Now, when it's Bobbi, you know, for example, the Offset one was hella disrespectful.
Oh, disrespectful.
She got Offset, out of all people, to go and interview, and she didn't know anything really, or she pretended to know. Notice this is a key thing in her character, right? To pretend to not know anything.
Right.
To act dumb.
Right.
I have no idea. I'm just here. I'm just lollygagging my way through.
Right.
So she Offset put her in her place a few times, like how you do this interview and you don't even know nothing, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I feel like when you see other podcasters who fall into the category of awkward interviews, that type vibes, they're awkward, but they still have something to gain from. And one thing about the Bobbi interviews is that there was literally nothing to gain from. It was kind of it was
dry,
awkward for sure, but it was dry.
It wasn't even funny. If you're gonna do that awkward sense of humor, it has to be funny. You're not funny, so I don't know. I just don't know, but I guess that's the world that we live in, right? Look at Amy Schumer. She's not fucking funny. She's more funnier than you, for sure. For sure. She's funnier than you, Bobbi, but she's not that funny. And you aren't even close to the word funny. You're not a comedian. You're not comedic. You're none of that. But here we are. You got your platform. You got your money. It's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Drake done made you famous. All right, so now that we said all of that, now let's just go into showing her response, because she actually saw his 4-minute video in front of his pool. She made sure to notice that when she did her response video on a rooftop, I guess. I don't even know. But so she did respond to him. And in this video, she does talk about, you know, having social anxiety and how her and her husband are not divorced. But here is the clip.
Not gonna lie, I was a little shocked. So here's my version of what happened. Last year, we were supposed to go on tour, and I backed out last minute because my husband had just left me. I just had surgery, and I was super nervous going into this because I was not prepared. And I text Marco, and I said, Marco, I'm so sorry to do this, but I am so depressed right now. I literally want to myself. He doesn't reply to me. And then he unfollows me. I woke up from surgery actually to him unfollowing me. And not only that, in the coming weeks, he would go on multiple podcasts and talk about how much he didn't fuck with my style of humor. Fast forward some time, I'm in Vegas doing an interview, and he bumps into me, and I'm like, oh, hey, stranger. He's like, let's go on tour again. I'm like, all right, fine, let's do it. During this tour, I'm trying my best. Every time I'm telling him, like, Marco, he's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, Marco, I'm trying my best, but, like, it's hard for me to get out of my comfort zone of, like, I have social anxiety, like, debilitating social anxiety. That's why this whole thing of me is not fully a character. I actually am socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. It's embarrassing. I don't want to be, so I lean into it. Couple more weeks, I might hear from my team that he canceled it, and I'm like, what the hell? Marco canceled the show, like, why? They're like, I don't know. So I'm like calling him, doesn't answer me. I'm like, okay, congratulations on the baby, doesn't answer me. He just won't answer me, but then he's tagging me in posts of Taylor Swift dancing and being like, that's Bobbi. And I'm like, okay, at least we're still cool. Fast forward to today, and I get tagged in a video of Marco standing by a pool talking to everybody about why he canceled the tour. I don't know anything. Anyway.
So that is pretty much her response to the whole situation with, I guess, why Marco canceled the tour. So when I saw her response video, immediately I was just, spare me. That was my energy. Spare me, right? I just feel like it's very on brand for her character to say, I have social anxiety. And I'm not saying that social anxiety doesn't exist, right? I'm not saying that mental illnesses don't exist. But what really bothers me is that a lot of people use social anxiety as a crutch. A lot of the times, and it's usually people like her who live in their own world, out of touch with reality, very spoiled, very used to getting things handed to them, that really don't know. They don't know what it's like to work hard for anything. So it's easy for them to use social anxiety as a crutch, which is what she just did. You know, I feel like what Marco was asking of you shouldn't have put you in such a crazy state where you feel like I just can't do it at all. And that's just my personal opinion. It almost feels like, again, not only a slap in his face because he's paying for, you know, the script writers. He was going to set everything up. He was going to do everything for you. And then on top of that, you have people paying their hard-earned money. They want to see you guys together. And you're simply just going to use that as a crutch. It really pisses me off because it really, again, shows me that you really don't know what it feels like to want something. You don't know what it feels like to really yearn for something that you're super passionate about, that you will work, right, for that thing that you want, right? And you don't have that. You don't have that. And that about Bobbi is what pisses me off because you don't have any of these things. But look at where you're at. Look at where you're at. Not having to do shit. You literally don't do shit. Don't even know the definition of an industry plan. Or maybe you're playing dumb because you're playing into the character that you are. But I am sick of it. I'm sick of it. Like, I feel like her response was your typical...
Yeah, I feel like just to kind of piggyback off of that, right? I don't want to discredit any type of mental struggles or mental health struggles because at the end of the day, those exist. They're real, right? No matter what status, no matter where you are in life. People do have social anxiety period, depression, all these things. And you can't see it, right? You normally can't see it. So I don't want to downplay the severity of her anxiety. However, your anxiety is no excuse for, let's just say, for example, according to her, pulling out of the first tour date last minute. The word that is wrong there is last minute, because if you pulled out after having some thought, after giving it a while to think, and maybe you were like, maybe this isn't for me, is one thing. But when you pull out last minute, and trust me, I know what it's like to not. And this is how I'm going to make it all make sense. I know what it's like to do some shit like that, right? Because guess what? Whenever I promised to be a part of projects, and honestly, deep down inside, I didn't really care for it, it was easy for me to just pull out, right? But there goes to show not only how much she values the work ethic or the work that goes into these things, but also, I also could understand that maybe life is just crazy at the time, right? That like, let's just say life was crazy. You got divorced, you had surgery, right? I want to empathize and put myself in her shoes for a second. Tour is so exhausting. So like, and then I have social anxiety, right? I'm putting myself in Bobbi's shoes. And then I have social anxiety. My husband just left me. The internet's rumoring that I had sex with Drake. And then on top of that, I have to go on this tour. I can see how that can give somebody cold feet. But knowing that not only did you drop out last minute, when Marco gave you a second chance, you would think that she would think about those things when she goes into doing business with him, right? Like, man, I fucked up the first time. So if he's asking me to do something like this, maybe I'll compromise. But then it's also like, then you're asking her, if this is true, what she's saying is really who she is as a person, then it's like you're asking her to compromise her personality.
Well, when you're doing a job, no one gives a fuck if you have social anxiety. And I think that's what it comes down to. If I can't not show up to work and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I had social anxiety, and not expect to have a fucking job. And at the end of the day, like you said, business is business. And I feel like from Marco's point, he's doing business with you. Y'all don't have to be friends. Yeah. Y'all don't have to be nothing, kiki nothing. This is business. Yeah. The tour should be a job. You're getting paid for this. People are spending their hard-earned money, and you want to sit here and talk about some fucking social fucking anxiety? And like you said earlier, not to take away anybody's mental struggles. It is real. However, going back to her personality of having that spoiled brat personality, it just irritates me even more because it feels like you're a Gen Z fucking employee that literally called out of work because I don't fucking know. Off. Yeah, the vibes were off, or your friend is in town, so you called out of work, shit like that. And I've literally worked at companies where those employees have done that.
Yeah, I'll use
have done that, have literally left work to go do their fucking nails, left the office, right? And it's usually females like that, right, that act like Bobbi, say shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's why it just pisses me off. Because at the end of the day, this is not your friend you're just chopping it up with. This is a business move. Like, you guys are working.
It's not just a podcast.
You. Right.
It's a tour.
It's a tour.
Yeah, at that point, don't agree to it.
Thank you.
At that point, yeah.
You want to sit here and talk about social anxiety? Girl. And that's probably why he didn't answer you. That's probably why he didn't answer you, not picking up your damn calls, because he's looking at you like you just typical fucking brat. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. And not for nothing, like, going back to the whole did Marco use Bobbi thing, I 100% think he did, because why not, right? The fans love you guys together and you guys can make serious money. Can't beat them, join them, right? I seriously think that he did use her for that, because did y'all really, let's be real, Bobbi, did you really think that you and Marco would be friends?
I mean, you can ask Marco the same thing.
Did you really think? No.
Did you really think she was going to show up if she didn't show up the first time?
Yeah, that's a valid question to ask Marco.
I mean,
it is.
Come on.
It is. Honestly, me personally, I was annoyed that he was going on tour with her. And I was also annoyed that he had her on her show. But when he had her on her show, he was shading her a lot. So I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. But me personally, I'm like, why are you linking up with the op?
Yeah, especially if she supposedly stole your flow.
Right. Why are you linking up with the op? Because that's literally what she did. Like,
yeah, I think this is an example of what you see when two people don't actually like each other and they're just trying to do it for the fans, or they're trying to do it for, there is good opportunity for money here, right? To make bread, because their chemistry is so shady, it's funny. It's awkward.
Yeah.
And it's really good, but like also like I said, you can't do business with just anybody. That's really what it is, right? Especially when, not for nothing, they give the industry plan. Like, if they have a reputation of being an industry plan, like, for example, and I want to bring this up because I know I talked to you about it on the side, but it's the same shit that happened just recently when Ice Spice was on Kai Cenat's live stream, right? Ice Spice, we've covered it before. Ice Spice is an industry plan. That's how she came up. And guess what? Usually industry plans usually don't really have not only the work ethic, but some of them don't even have talent like that.
Like what Kiki said.
Look at Bobbi. Exactly. So then what happened was Kai Cenat told, Ice Spice, freestyle. She said, I could freestyle. And then he said, all right, so freestyle. He put on a beat.
Literally put on a beat,
and
waiting.
Then she got cute, shook her ass, twerked her ass on the screen. And then he was like, all right, so freestyle. And then she was like, I did. That was it. That was her freestyle. Was like,
that was my freestyle.
And then I was so annoyed by that. Yeah. Because I was just like, you see, this is that laziness, because she probably can't freestyle because she don't have to. Because look at Connie Diamond. Connie Diamond is fucking fire. Yeah. Connie Diamond from New York can spit. I seen her on Hot 97 spitting, bro. And guess what? I seen like from little Instagram followers, seeing her come up like that is fire. And you know what? Because when you have to work hard, you have to fine tune those skills to stand out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ice Spice didn't have to do that. All she had to do was shake her ass and make a TikTok song.
She said, when in doubt, twerk it out.
Yeah.
That's literally what she said.
Yeah. So it's just like, again, and that was that same energy I got from Bobbi.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, that's what you're gonna get when you are working with these people who really, got handed like the job.
People, but also it's like, yeah, you're right. Because Marco is someone that's worked his way, and she is not that person. Honestly, if I was Marco, I wouldn't even want to collab.
Right.
But he's better than me because I guess he's more the mature one. He decided to be the mature individual. Me personally, I would just not even bother. Because why? Why? Why go on tour? I get, money, and I guess the fans loved it, but I don't care.
He clearly cares about the relationship with his fans, because he even said it. He mentioned it, right? And that's what got him there. And that's why he puts in that work. That's why he thinks about those things.
And this is why Funny Marco will always be better than you, Bobbi. That's it. With that being said, like we were saying earlier, Lil Yachty definitely was shading Bobbi as well when he did his interview with Funny Marco, when Funny Marco interviewed him. And honestly, I really like to think back at that clip because Lil Yachty also interviewed with Bobbi, and he also had some sarcastic, funny things to say to her too. And after seeing this interview with, Lil Yachty and Funny Marco, I was like, wow, the fact that everyone knows, it's the fact that everyone knows. Like, you literally cannot say, no, that's not true. It's very obvious. So here is the clip with Lil Yachty.
Yeah. You mind if I come on your show?
Yeah, I mean, I think, why not?
Yeah.
We make white people famous.
Yeah.
Together.
I just been going through some shit,
Yeah, because she just blew right past your stupid ass. God damn it, white people. Fuck, it was crazy.
Not only that, it's just like late on bills and shit.
She not late on her fucking bills, I'll tell you that much.
I know. Do you like help out people?
Huh?
You help out people?
As far as what?
Just like a little cash.
Damn. As far as what? Like, you talking about like...
It has to be like a part of your life. And I've never been jealous before because I've always been the slow kid. So the fact that I'm like...
So you went to LA on a humbug for the BET Awards. Stopped at this little white girl house. Didn't think nothing of it. Didn't think it would probably get over 5,000 views. Turn her up. She get 10 million plus views. I'm talking about 500,000 extra followers. Drake, me, fucking Michael. I mean, the list goes on. She just turned shit stunned. She probably got a $1 million deal on the way. I actually just talked to her. I ain't gonna tell you who she just met with. And you sitting here right now, no shoes on, socks dirty, you got $20 in your pocket. And you mean to tell me that you wasn't jealous in any type of way? That's crazy. You dope, bro. I fuck with you. By the way, shout out to Bobbi. I love Bobbi. I was just talking to her earlier. I'm so happy for her.
Yo, so that clip, I remember when I saw that whole episode with Lil Yachty, I was dying because I was like, I know I felt this way. But the fact that Lil Yachty called it out and shaded it as well, I was like, wow. And this is exactly why I just didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want to talk about Bobbi, period. Because at the end of the day, we know what it is, right? The more you talk about them, the more,
famous and, you give it back. And there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right. You're basically, making her more. I mean, not that she wasn't already, but it's just adding to the fact that, but so whatever, I'm finally talking about it because of this whole thing with the canceled tour. And me personally, this is just why this is how I feel. This is how I feel about the whole thing.
I think you make a good point though. Like, this is work, right? And this isn't to dehumanize people, because even at work, right? Like, I remember it was hard as hell going to work after my grandfather died, and I still had to show up. If not, I wasn't going to get paid, and my bills don't get paid. Right. But there is this this leisure, this privilege when you're doing content online that these content creators really don't know or forget, or if you, I don't know if you never had a struggle, but like, we got to work. You got to show up to work because our bills got to get paid. But if you have the luxury of not needing to work, you don't have that drive and you don't have that passion, and I don't know. And it's just two very different people at the end of the day. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say about the whole situation. I feel like I said everything I needed to say. Yeah. Big ups to Funny Marco. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know, did you guys know who Bobbi Althoff and Funny Marco was before this conversation? And if you didn't, I mean, this is the reason why we didn't even want to cover it, with especially towards Bobbi, because it's like, like we just, there's certain people that we don't want to cover. There's a couple of topics that are just not going to make it on the podcast for that reason, because we know how the social media game works, and whether people are canceling you or not, if you're talking about them, it's good for them and their brand. So, that being said, I mean, I really have nothing else to say. I think that everything happens for a reason. I think that Funny Marco, probably God works in very special ways. And if that was the way it planned out, look at God, right? He stopped it twice. You know, stopped it twice, and probably
there's a reason for that.
A reason.
You're not meant to go on tour with
Right.
Bobbi.
Exactly.
Marco, you are not meant to do that.
Right.
Like, at all. Like, please stop forcing it. I feel like he's forcing it.
He tried, yeah, to force
He's
it.
trying, I guess, because you know what? Not for nothing. Like we said, it's a good, cash grab, but also like your fans liked it. But nah, your real day ones don't need Bobbi there with you.
For
you
sure.
can do on your own, like for real.
For sure. And like I said, everything, when one door closes, two more open, and who knows that it must be a blessing in disguise, right? Things are meant to be that way.
Yeah,
Because like to be stopped twice, that's how you know it's not meant to be, bro.
For her to be so delusional, to be like, oh my God, I'm so shocked. Like, oh girl, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, but I would like to say it's the same energy for Marco, because I know you can't
He
say
wasn't
that.
rude though.
No, I know, but like he was surprised too that she was like not showing up. I'm like, bro, she didn't show up the first time. You think I'm cutting you off if I don't show up? If you don't show up the first time, business on a
That's
business
me
level.
too. That's me too. With all due fucking respect.
Right, we've learned our lesson. Right, we've
Whoa.
had to chase down a few people.
You've learned your lesson, I feel like.
I've learned
You've
my
learned
lesson.
your lesson. Me, immediately. It's like, if I already feel like you're not fucking with it, immediately cut off.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chase nobody. Like,
Yeah.
as at the end of the day, even if you get that person, it's never worth it.
It's never this. It's
not
never
worth
genuine.
It's not genuine, and it's not worth it at the end. It makes me feel like I'm begging you to do
Yeah.
something, and you're just so tired that you just do it because you won't stop bothering me. I don't want to feel like I'm fucking begging or bothering nobody.
Yeah.
So if you are not interested, then fuck off. That's it.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, if you guys made it this far to the video, please let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, what are your thoughts? Do you side with Bobbi? Do you side with Marco? Like, or do you not side with anyone and you just have an overall opinion about the whole situation? I know there are some people in the comments that were like siding with Bobbi, and I was just like, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, tell us what you think and all that jazz, I guess. And what did you think about what we said? Did you agree? Did you disagree?
Did we miss something?
Did we miss something? Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, I mean, yeah, do all of that. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow and rate the podcast. We are on all podcast platforms.
Yes.
All right. And with that being said, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And where can they find you, Tiana?
You guys can find me on Randomania1, and you can find us on Instagram at the Petty Headquarters. And like I said, we're on all podcast platforms. We release episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, all of it. So just follow and rate us. You can also leave a review if you'd like. And we're on YouTube, our new YouTube channel, just the Petty Headquarters.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
simple. The Petty Headquarters on everything, okay? You can't miss it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with that being said, this was your weekly dose of mess. You're so awkward when you chime in.
Bye.